Alright, we get started. So, how do you see the scene looking in another 100 years? Oh, I'm sure it'll still be kicking, but you need the parts supply though. If you take the parts supply away, I don't know, we might have to go spend some time with the Cubans learning how to fix cars out of palm trees and sugarcane, or however they've kept their cars going for the last 60 years. But the cars will still be around, there's no doubt about that. What are you going to do if you need, like, an alternator in 100 years? Well, there's always the neighbor's copper drain pipe, Right? I could just go steal that, feed it into an extruder, which I'll go down and buy at the store, put it in my living room, and then take that pipe, turn it into wire, and then make my own windings to fix the generator or whatever I need, right? No, I'm not worried about that. There'll be parts. This is a video celebrating the 100-year anniversary of MG, one of the greatest sports car marques of all time. Where we are now, and more importantly, how we got here. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Limit 55. You join me here today from a rather gloomy but nevertheless picturesque San Diego. The flip-flop was invented here, along with the words dude, dudette, and gnarfest. Anything pertaining to or involving something so cool or rad that it is literally spelt wrong, a festival of total gnarliness. And I'm going to attend one of these such festivals of gnar. The Gathering of the Faithful. Can you believe they I can't believe they call it that. But nevertheless, this intrepid band of car fanatics would be meeting in the small town of Carlsbad to celebrate primarily pre-war and T-Series MGs. But because I hadn't quite finished restoring my TC, I decided to drive down and meet them in my MGA. But there was a problem. Hell yeah. Yes, in a somewhat typical but nevertheless spectacularly frustrating fashion, the MGA did not pass its pre-flight check. So I'm driving my daily driver down instead. Air conditioning, stereo, it is joyous. I should be down for the first timers car show, first time attendees car show in no time. And indeed soon I was, with TCs, TDs, TFs, MGBs, twin cam MGAs with 6500 RPM redline tachometers all around me. There were cars there with heroic rescue stories, and this immaculate, freshly restored TC, which I was taking close notes on for my own restoration. Nice little touch. It was only like only the early cars had these, right? It also had a brand new kit from Moss Motors for a key safety and performance upgrade that the car's owner, Michael Hughes, was walking me through.
Latest and greatest, got it from Moss.
A brand new bolt-in steering box and column.
No cutting rivets, no modifying the chassis. Tube diameters, the correct diameters, so we don't have to worry about alignment with the toe kick. Tremendous improvement in safety and driving. Now it's one hand steering.
Right.
It's not two anymore.
Somebody had to go to the trouble of developing that, and now you can buy it off the shelf and put it in without, as you said, drilling out the rivets, or the one rivet.
You don't have to do anything.
Yeah. The MGTC steering is famously, what's the word? Lethal. If neglected and not maintained properly, it can end in spectacular car flipping results. But not for Michael. And anyway, soon it was time for the participants' meeting. And while it was very full of important information about parking and hotel amenities, it was a little bit difficult to stay focused.
People come out and see our cars. The car show goes till 5 o'clock. At 5 o'clock, we'll release all the cars.
But erotic snake ladies aside, this was the Gathering of the Faithful, a historic event steeped in tradition.
The big East and West Coast gatherings of the faithful are glittering proof of this.
This is the 1975 Golf, just 30 years after many of the cars were made.
These are fun events, complete with gymkhana tests, where the passenger sometimes has to take over for the driver. All sorts of earlier, newer types compete. Old number 1, MG's first sports car, was guest of honor for the 50th anniversary.
I knew it was going to be a great event, and for the 100-year anniversary, there was a guest car that is arguably just as important as the first MG itself. And that is the MGTC belonging to the late Al Moss. Put simply, if it wasn't for Moss's love affair with the TC and his life's dedication to his parts business, Moss Motors, I'm not sure many people today would have the confidence to undertake a restoration. So to understand the true spirit of the Golf, I was going to have to spend some time with Moss's car. And here to help me do that is longtime Moss employee, David. And although we just met, we were forced to get a bit, close. I know why they call it a tub. It's because you genuinely do feel like you're sitting in a bathtub with someone else. But no matter. So is this how Al had it? Is it true to the way it's been for the last 60 years or whatever, or has Moss changed things?
This is how it was when Al last owned it, but it has had several engines with him, a couple different superchargers depending on the engine. For a while he used this as his tow vehicle to pull his Morgan three-wheeler to racetracks.
Really?
He drove this thing, I think it's got 116,000 miles, and he put on 114 of those thousands of miles.
Wow, okay.
He drove the heck out of this thing.
And yet it's still, I mean, it's immaculate. It's been very well maintained.
A lot of that is due to his mechanical abilities. He was very consistent on his cars working and looking great.
Oh, yeah.
And Al was an event guy. He would drive not quite across the country, but 1,000 miles to go to an event.
I've heard he was a rambunctious prankster, like he would fill up people's cars with packing peanuts.
He was a kid. Well, no, that happened to his car.
Oh.
People got back at him and did that to his car, and
the old
that did
packing
not go
peanut
over well.
revenge.
He didn't take the practical jokes on him as well as
he liked giving them out, dishing it out to
Exactly.
people. It's as you would expect, the founder of the biggest parts manufacturer's car to be. It's silent.
I sprained my ankle recently, so
Oh no.
the brakes are going to be enjoyable.
That's okay, just don't use them. You got this. Such a nice exhaust. No.
It's got a little bit of growl to it. Little howl.
It's a really unusual color, this. There's no other TCs that are this color.
I love the color.
The first MG, they called it like old speckled hen because it was like a hen brown color. This, it puts me in the mind of that.
Overspray. So it was the speckled one, and it became the speckled one.
That's why that's where the speckled piece of this comes in?
Yep.
Gotcha.
If it were me, I would get the motorcycle fenders.
Oh yeah,
So
isolated.
they're kind of separated. You get to watch them bounce up and down.
Yeah, and they're cool when they turn with the wheel. That is really where it wants to be. If you're gonna go cycle fenders.
We'll take it on the highway, we'll drive it to car shows. Even when it's on a trailer, they still love to give you the thumbs up and show their appreciation for a car like this.
Yeah, no, I bet.
It just makes people smile. I'm so excited for you to experience that with yours on the road.
Yeah, we'll get there. Almost there. Engineer Street. That's fitting.
Oh, there's some more TCs.
And there they were, an oasis of passion and colour in a plastic grey modern world. But before we could get to our destination, there was a challenge at the entrance to the show's parking lot.
Oh yeah. Stop! Back up!
Precious lifeblood was spilled, but eventually everyone got their photos taken. And we were in! Cars had come from all over, other states even. But a clear crowd favourite was this 1934 MG NE. With white side pipes designed to deafen anyone within a 10-mile radius and a brutish front face to make spectators cower with fear, this very car was supposed to have been raced by Tazio Nuvolari in the 1934 Belfast Tourist Trophy race. But for political sponsorship reasons, it was instead raced by Bill Everett and unfortunately did not make a podium. The TT was an endurance race so demanding it was almost laughable, although Nuvolari did seem to have a sense of humour as he is seen here pulling his steering wheel off his car almost 10 years later at the Italian Grand Prix. Certainly an impressive car with an impressive story.
Get this thing up out of the way.
Wow, look at that. That's neat.
Red for Nuvolari, and then he never drove it.
And there was a whole host of great cars besides. Of course, numerous TCs, 2 in black, my favourite, and the biggest collection of twin-cam MGAs in any one place I've ever seen. There was even a P-type restoration in progress by Auto Vintagery, and it had a Speedo Taco combo gauge that was one of the prettiest I'd ever seen. But the best thing about these events are the stories behind the cars and laughing with the people.
When, a week ago today, Mr. Speaker, I asked the House to fix this afternoon as the occasion for a statement, I feared it would be my hard lot to announce the greatest military disaster in our long history. I thought, and some good judges agreed with me, that perhaps 20 or 30,000 men might be re-embarked. But it seemed that the whole of the French First Army and the whole of the British Expeditionary Force north of the
And in the corner, forever presiding over the proceedings, was the Moss TC. I strongly believe this car represents the confidence we all have to undertake a restoration, and the might of a parts manufacturer that enables us to do so. This was the 100th anniversary of MG, and it's estimated that over 50% of the 10,000 TCs ever produced still remain. A remarkable survival rate, but after seeing the Moss TC, I know that'll still be true in another 100 years. But don't get dewy-eyed with the pripped and preemed glim-glam show cars. You've got to remember, these used to be race cars.
The green flag goes down. Powerful engines let out a deafening roar, and we're off on a dangerous and thrilling 40-lap trip over the Torrey Pines road course.
The Torrey Pines circuit may have looked a bit like a toilet, but it was anything but crap.
Harold Shelby pushes his Ferrari number 20C and is showing the way.
T-Series MGs littered the road racing tracks of the 50s, and they were just the post-war tonic the amateur racers needed. But today, this speed haven has slowed down into a golf course. The pit area has been turned into a car park and driving range, and turns 1 and 2 are now the 9th fairway. All that remains are some advertisements and photographs of people honing their skills in the pursuit of speed, corner after corner. Instead of men demonstrating human skill and fearlessness, it's boys knocking plastic balls into cups. But they can't even do that. But at the start of this, I said it was about MG's 100th birthday, and the fact that there was even something to celebrate. The cars are still around, and people still want and are able to keep them alive. I feel lucky to have access to parts for cars that are 60, 80, damn near 100 years old now. And the Gathering of the Faithful epitomizes everyone's commitment to these cars. It was an opportunity for people to express their passion and celebrate this marque that we all love. And I'm convinced that it's having cars like that Moss TC, Al Moss's TC, still around today that give everybody the confidence to undertake restorations. If there weren't a number of big parts suppliers for these old British cars, people wouldn't restore them. It's like the Volvo 544 or the 122. They are unbelievable cars, they're great. But the parts supply sucks, and that's why you never see them out on the road. There's like 5 people who have 122s. I had one. I know how difficult it was to get parts. It's just painful. But having options and having a number of big suppliers is critical for the survival of the cars. And they sponsor events like this and keep the whole thing ticking over, keep the whole ecosystem alive. So it was certainly a good experience, and I'm certainly grateful to have been able to go. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Corvette or Lotus? Broken Corvette.